People always say marriage is built on honesty, but let me tell you, sometimes staying quiet is what keeps you safe, yeah. I know that sounds cynical, but it's the truth I learned the hard way, and I learned it with my heart, my bank account, and the ghost of my sister's past mistakes whispering in my ear. You know what I mean? When I got married, I didn't spill everything to my husband. Not because I was hiding more, like I was just careful, cautious, holding tight to lessons burned into me, lessons about what love looks like when money gets involved, and how fast it can all turn ugly if you're not paying attention. I'd watch my sister sweet, trusting, the type who sees the best in everyone lose everything to a man who flashed a perfect smile, said all the right things, and one day just walked away with every dollar she'd saved, left her staring at empty bank statements and a pile of broken promises. So, when I met the man who would become my husband, the charming, polished, good-on-paper guy every mom dreams their daughter will bring home, I listened to that little voice in my head that said, "Careful, girl, not everyone is what they seem," and I made a choice. I kept my mouth shut about the 4 houses my mother left me when she passed, about the inheritance that was mine alone, about the rental income trickling in, about that quiet safety net tucked away under my name, locked up and untouched. Not because I planned to lie, but because, honestly, I needed to know that he loved me for me, or for what he thought I had. He was good. I'll give him that charming, sweet, thoughtful, the kind of guy who plans weekends away and introduces you to his family right off the bat. Everyone's singing his praises. Everyone's saying, "He's a catch. Don't let him go." And for a while, I believed it. We met at a housewarming party, one of those nights you don't really want to go, but your friend begs you, and you just show up, thinking you'll only stay for an hour. Was there, leaning against the kitchen counter in a leather jacket, holding a glass of wine, smiling like he didn't have a care in the world. He asked real questions, listened, actually seemed interested in what I had to say, not just waiting for his turn to talk, and before I knew it, we were deep into conversations about books and bad TV and why the traffic in this city is always a nightmare. The first date turned into coffee, coffee into dinner, dinner into lazy Sundays at flea markets and bookstores and little neighborhood parks. Nothing fancy, but everything felt like it mattered, you know? For the first time in a long time, I let my guard down, not all the way. I still kept my secret, those 4 houses, that inheritance just tucked away where no one could touch them. I wasn't lying, I just wasn't telling. And things felt good, better than good. 6 months later, we moved in together. A year after that, he proposed. Nothing flashy, no big crowd, just us at a quiet dinner, his hand over mine, the questions soft and careful. I said yes. His family welcomed me like I'd always belonged. His friends joked that he was lucky to have landed. Might all looked so perfect from the outside, and for a while, I almost let myself believe it. But perfect never lasts, does it? Love has a funny way of pulling the truth out, whether you're ready or not. The first cracks were small, easy to miss. She started hesitating when we talked about money, getting cagey over wedding expenses, acting nervous about budgets. I teased him one night, "Thought your job paid well," and his answer was too quick, his smile too stiff. "Just stretched thin this month," he said, waving it off, but my instincts caught it and tucked it away for later. The second sign was worse. We're out with friends, laughing about how impossible it is to buy a house these days, and someone joked, "Unless you marry rich, you're renting forever." Everybody laughed, even Ma, but when I glanced at him, he wasn't laughing. He was thinking. That's when it hit me. He thought I was his ticket out, his way up. We didn't know. The money, the houses, they were never on the table, and never would be. The wedding came and went, small, simple, beautiful in its way. The honeymoon phase was sweet, did all the right things, said all the right words, made my friend sigh and say, "Girl, you found a good one." But in the back of my mind, those warning bells never stopped. Money talk always felt off, little inconsistencies, small stories that didn't line up, excuses about his car payment, credit card glitches, needing to borrow my card for dinner once or twice. Minor stuff, sure, but enough to keep me wary. Then the big red flag. I was sorting through mail one day, paying bills, when I found an unfamiliar envelope addressed to him. Return address, National Debt Recovery Agency. I didn't open it right away, just waited till he got home, sat him down, and asked about it straight out. His face gave him away before his mouth did. He stumbled through a story about some old loan he'd almost paid off. Nothing to worry about. But I'd seen that look before, the same look my sister had when her world came crashing down. That night, after he fell asleep, I opened the envelope, tens of thousands in debt. Credit cards maxed out, personal loans stacked to the ceiling, even rumors of gambling debts buried in there. Suddenly, all the little things made sense: the nervousness, the jokes, the way he looked at me when people teased about marrying rich. He hadn't married me for love. He'd married me for rescue. But what he didn't know, would never get his hands on my lifeline. The houses were still mine, the inheritance still untouched. I lay awake all night, thinking, turning over every conversation, every missed sign. The next morning, I didn't confront him. That was my sister's mistake. She called out her ex too soon, gave him time to run. I played it cool, stayed supportive, the perfect wife on the outside. But inside, I got busy. I called my lawyer, a no-nonsense woman who looked me in the eye and said, "You did the right thing legally. He has no claim on any of it." That was relief, sharp and clear. Next, I dug deeper: credit checks, public records, bank statements I could get my hands on. Why found scared? Mayhay wasn't just stretched thin, he was drowning, and I was supposed to be his life raft. I started moving money, checking every account, every property, locking everything down. He never noticed, never suspected, was too busy keeping up appearances, too busy pretending. The real test came one Sunday at breakfast. Looked tired, his hands shaking, eyes shadowed. "We need to talk," he said, and tried to steer the conversation to money, to our future, to building together in full honesty. He wanted me to confess, spill about the inheritance, the houses, offer him a bailout without him having to beg. But I just sat there, sipping coffee, letting him talk himself in circles. When he finally accused me of keeping secrets, I smiled and said, "Funny, I was about to say the same to you. The difference is, my secrets don't come with debt collectors." You should have seen his face: shock, then panic, then defeat. That was the turning point. The house turned cold after that, full of unspoken truths. Within a week, he was gone, suitcase in hand, bitterness in his voice. "I thought you had money. I thought you'd help." And I told him, quiet and steady, "I do have money. You just never had access to it." I filed for divorce clean, efficient, protected at every turn. His debt stayed his. My inheritance, my house, is still mine. It took a while to settle into that silence. Divorce is messy. No matter how right it is, but in time, the quiet became peace, and the life I'd built stayed safe. I heard he didn't land softly. Debt followed him. Friends drifted away. The polished mask finally fell. I don't feel sorry for him, not after what I know. Some folks think I should have seen the red flags sooner. Maybe they're right, but predators are experts at hiding in plain sight. Me? I'm my mother's daughter, quiet, careful, calculating when it counts. The houses are still mine, the inheritance still working for me, and I walk through those empty halls sometimes, grateful I trusted my gut. Maybe one day I'll trust again, maybe not. But I'm not waiting for anyone to save me. I already did that for myself. So tell Mato, you think honesty is always the best policy? Or is it sometimes smarter to keep a little bit of yourself back? Let me know what you'd have done.